Matthew chapter 12, verses 33 through 37. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is known by its fruit. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure bring forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. And by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Once there lived in a small community an incessant gossip who became remorseful about the pain his words had caused. He sought out the local pastor and asked how he could make amends. "How can I fix all that my words have broken?" he inquired. The wise old pastor instructed the remorseful gossip to go home, find a pillow full of feathers. He says, "Cut the pillow open and release all the feathers all around town. Once you have released the feathers, return to my office. Then we can finish our conversation." The penitent gossip ran home, found a down pillow, ripped it open, and gleefully released the feathers all around the community. Of course, it felt a bit strange walking about town scattering feathers, but the task seemed to provide a small measure of relief. He returned the next day to the pastor's office and informed him that he had indeed released the feathers. "Now," instructed the pastor, "go back and gather all the feathers that you released." The man looked at the pastor in awe and said, "That would be impossible. I don't even know where most of them went." The pastor responded, "It's the same way with your words. Once you let them loose, they're impossible to retrieve. What we say about others carry significant weight. What we say about Jesus carries eternal weight. Why? Our evaluation of Jesus will serve as evidence for his future assessment of us. What we think about Jesus and his work will determine our future destiny. Our words determine our justification or our condemnation before God, according to verse 37. When we use the word justification, we mean that process by which God makes man right with himself. Conversely, condemnation defines the ultimate penalty for rejecting God. Scripture states that the wages of sin is death, and this death describes God's absence in his grace. Consequently, those who choose not to accept God's grace on earth will then abdicate that grace, which will reflect his absence in grace in hell. Matthew 10:28. The fact that our words carry such weight should come as no surprise, given that God created the universe with a word and created us in his image and after his likeness. God spoke the world into existence, and by his word, he upholds the universe. The words we confess reveal the condition of our hearts. Just as a good tree bears good fruit and a bad tree produces bad fruit, a good heart speaks wholesome, helpful words, and a bad heart speaks cruel, damaging words. Verse 33. An individual's lips verbally expresses the vitriol, the vice, or the veneration and victory in their hearts. Jeremiah noted, a well keeps its water fresh, so she keeps fresh her evil. Violence and destruction are heard within her. Sickness and wounds are ever before me. Jeremiah 6:7. The well of the heart bubbles up to our lips, exposing its exact contents. What we say about others carries significant weight. What we say about Jesus carries eternal weight. Jesus pointed a spotlight at the vicious hearts of the Pharisees, bad fruit from a brood of vipers. In fact, this brood behaved badly and didn't brood about it. Jesus proclaimed this parable publicly and applies it personally, categorizing his critics as vipers. We categorize vipers as cunning and deceptive and dangerous, and those are the characteristics that precisely reflect the character of the vicious Pharisees. Remember, the Pharisees thought that rigidly keeping the law entitled them a relationship with God. They promoted ritual over relationship. Their response to Jesus' good works betrayed their vengeful hearts. Accordingly, his verbal condemnation exposed the venom of their attitudes and heart's desires. These vipers voiced the most terrible words ever spoken. They attributed Jesus' works to Satan in verse 24. The vitriol and venom expressed in those words are literally unequaled in all of human history, verses 31 to 32. The preponderance of the proof provided by Jesus did not push them to a proper perspective. Pitiful. They denied divinity in their presence and demonstrated their allegiance with their father, the devil, John 8:44. Their words reflected the corruption in their hearts. The tree and the fruit must coincide, verse 33. Jesus' parabolic statement served as a demand for consistency. Jesus said to them, you cannot label my actions as evil when your disciples exercises the same task. Verse 27. To say that I'm evil, you must evaluate their actions as evil as well. Consequently, Jesus said to them, your conclusions must coincide with the character of your previous calculated evaluation. Diseased trees produce diseased deeds. Justified trees produce righteous fruit. What we say about others carry significant weight. What we say about Jesus carry eternal weight. Live well, hope well.